What's up, you guys? Welcome back. If you're new, what's up? My name's Ivy. If you're not, welcome back. So today, obviously you guys are seeing a video version of my podcast, and if you're listening to my podcast, there is a video version up on my channel. You guys are actually listening to it right now. Trevor and I decided to do an Am I the Asshole today. So first of all, welcome to Authentically Ivy for those who listen to my podcast. And if you don't listen to my podcast, this is exactly what I talk about on my podcast. You guys are listening to it right now and obviously see me. I figured this would be fun because most of the time when we do Am I the Assholes, they're actually really funny, and I feel like we don't get enough of our facial reactions. I feel like when we read Am I the Assholes, me and Trevor make a lot of really crazy faces. So I wanted to go ahead and put it on a video. So I figured we'd go ahead and do an Am I the Asshole. I might do video versions quite a bit. It really just depends on what you guys like. So let me know in the comments down below. And if you'd want to go follow me on my podcast, the link will be down below as well. So today we're going to start on Am I the Assholes. Do you have anything brand new this week that you want to give them that was your favorite of the week?
We went and saw the movie. I had a lot of fun with you.
Yeah, we went to the movies. I didn't vlog that because it was very similar to what we did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I didn't vlog that, but Trevor and I went to the movies yesterday. That was really fun.
And Razzies.
We ate at Razoo's. It was, my chicken sandwich was alright. So there's your little updates, but let's go ahead and hop into Am I the Assholes? And as you guys can hear, if you're listening on audio, Trevor's accompanying me today.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look for Am I the Assholes together. Do you want to read first, or do you want me to? Okay.
I already read the title. I was like, ooh, this is spicy.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for not helping my sister and husband pay for their IVF in vitro fertilization treatment, using my inheritance despite having no immediate use for it? I don't know what all info I should provide, so if I miss something that you might need, please do ask me and I'll answer ASAP. So I am 25, female, and my sister, Ella, is 31, female. My husband, Tom, and her husband, John. Ella is bisexual, and our parents were religious AF. So that means as fuck, by the way.
Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Before, we have the computer right here, so if we're looking this way, it's because the computer's right here.
So when she brought home a girlfriend in
high school,
they kicked her out. She never got an inheritance when our mom died. The both of us had cut contact with our parents, but I still decided to accept the money because I figured it's the one good thing to come out of our abusive life, so why not? The legal side of things were finalized a week ago. Ella and John came to see me while Tom was at work and told me they wanted to talk about something important. They said they had exhausted all of their fertility money and didn't have enough to try IVF again. I could see where this was going, so I just said, I'm sorry, Ella, I understand. I was thinking about this as well, and Tom thinks this is the right thing to do. 2, you should have half of the money. You deserve it. John tells me that's not what they wanted to talk about, but they wanted all of the money. Okay, fuck you. I already offered.
Okay.
Continue. Yeah. I'm a bit taken aback. Apparently half won't be enough. I tell them that I was going to use my part, or if she didn't want the half, all of it, for my daughter's college fund and another fund for her to use for whatever she wishes during her teen years. I remind Ella that we always promise to each other our children will be financially well off because we never had that growing up. Where I live, college is extremely expensive, so despite my daughter being only 3, Tom and I wanted to start this for her. Smart. I tell Ella and John all of this, and Ella is just very upset at this point. Okay, bitch. Okay. Sorry, I'm already simmering, y'all. I have another white hair growing right now. John is more willing to have a conversation, though. She comes back from the kitchen and says I'm rubbing the fact that I'm a mother in her face. You're gonna gaslight me now. Ooh, I'm angry by this point because I thought she loved my daughter like her own. Ella said I was sabotaging her and that I owed her for looking after me when we were kids. John said since Ella faced more struggle, she deserved it all despite knowing full well our parents hurt me regularly as well. I was just not prepared to fight. My daughter needed my attention and I wanted Tom to be by my side because Ella was acting aggressive. I asked them to leave and called Tom. We discussed this again and agreed we shouldn't give them the money. Wait. Oh, my bad. I got that mixed up. John is her sister's husband. I was thinking that her husband was saying that. So, clarity on my end. That's why my facial expressions were that way. I asked them to leave and called Tom, my husband. We discussed this again and agreed we shouldn't give them the money. Ella calls me and I pick up and she tells me that she has to try again and that her relationship is rocky because they're frustrated they can't have a kid. I told her I would not give her the entire amount and just hang up. I feel guilty about all this now, but I don't know if I should. Maybe since I don't have an immediate use for the money, I should have given it to her. Am I an asshole?
Okay, you can go on your thoughts first.
No. No, you're not the asshole. Like, she didn't even get to like fully ask and you're already like, hey, like I'll give you half.
Yeah.
Like, so y'all can do that. No, sorry, we want all of it. Excuse me? Like.
But also, what makes you feel entitled to get all of the money? You know what I mean? Like,
True.
I understand you want a child, but also, I went through the same childhood you went through.
Yeah.
And why should I give you the entire amount of my inheritance from that situation?
Even after I offered.
Yeah, offered half.
Yeah. And you're going to come acting entitled like, well, you know, you have a kid, so now it's not my turn, so I need the money.
But also, exactly, she does have a kid. She wanted that
So,
money to go towards her child's,
exactly.
like,
college. Which is understandable.
Yeah.
And even if her kid later on decides not to go to college, at the end of the day, that's still their decision to give it to their kid.
Yeah. Or they could use it for something else, like if they wanted to start a business or get a certificate or buy a house or whatever they want to do with the money.
Yeah.
Or go on a really nice trip, like
Yeah.
a vacation.
Woo.
No, that person is not an asshole
No.
for not giving them an entire inheritance. They were literally going to offer them half. And that she didn't even need to.
Am I the asshole for threatening my mother-in-law by saying that she might not be allowed to meet her future grandkids after she behaved insensitively about my son's passing? Damn, okay. My 4-year-old son passed away suddenly 4 months ago. I'm so sorry. Since it happened, my mother-in-law has been a lot. She posted on social media to announce his passing without consulting my husband or I. We are private people, and it was a shock to have condolences from
That gives me, like, literal
Yeah.
goosebumps. Like, ugh.
from near strangers flooding in when we hadn't even had time to notify many immediate family members. My husband told her it was rude to decide when and how to announce his death publicly, and she apologized and took down the post. Once we'd had time to tell everyone close to us, we gave her the all clear to make a post if she wanted to. She proceeded to post multiple times a day about her grief, giving what I felt was an unnecessary amount of detail about his accident. She was present when it happened. I understand that people grieve differently, but it made me very uncomfortable, and I unfollowed her on social media because it was so upsetting. My husband told me even after the first couple of weeks that she continued making posts about once a week. That's spotty, you know. It's like up in the air. My son would have turned 5 on August 28th. My husband and I have been planning to visit his grave together. My mother-in-law planned a memorial herself without asking us, and the first we heard of it was when we received the invite. I called to tell her she needed to cancel because I'm not comfortable with having a large memorial. COVID. My husband and I want to grieve privately. She accused me of not caring about the grief of the rest of the family. I'm sorry, it was my kid.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Saying.
Grief of.
Go ahead.
Grief of, like, my child?
Saying they would all like to. Saying they would all like to participate in a memorial, and I was being selfish by leaving them out.
Okay, can I say one thing?
Okay, I'm allowed to because it was my kid.
But also, I understand, like, having a memorial for somebody and, like, obviously celebrating their life and everything like that.
That should be their decision.
But, yes, especially as the mother and the father, that should be on their time, because what if they're not ready yet? What if they're still emotionally, like, not okay? You know what I mean? So I feel like that was not her place to not even tell them that she was wanting to have a memorial.
I said she was making my son's death all about her, with her constant exploitative social media posts, making a spectacle out of it. And by organizing a memorial without even asking my husband and I first. She said, "You don't understand what it's like losing my only grandchild. You're young, you can always just have more kids. But I'm old. I don't know if I'll be alive to meet my future grandchildren. He might have been my only chance to be a grandma." This comment was so bizarre to me. Firstly, my husband is her only child, and my husband and I haven't talked about having more kids between ourselves, much less with her. So assuming we're having more is pretty rude. Also, she's 58. She's not on the brink of death. If we do have more kids, she'll probably be alive for it. I responded with, "Keep behaving like this and I won't let you meet any future grandkids." She called my husband in hysterics, saying I'd threatened to cut her out of future children's lives just for grieving in a way I don't like. My husband agreed with me that her behavior is insensitive and borderline exploitative of our son's memory. But he thinks my threat was uncalled for because she is still grieving, and clearly the possibility of not having future grandchildren is upsetting her at the moment. Am I the asshole?
Okay, I'll let you go first.
Fuck no, you're not the asshole at all. I mean, wow, if I was a woman and I was in your shoes.
I think that she was being, in my opinion, it's like, if that was me in the girl's shoes, it would feel like, okay, you're exploiting on and talking way too much about my child's death. I'm not even getting a chance to grieve properly because I'm having to worry about somebody else. And, oh, are they going to post on social media about da-da-da-da, about my child's death? It's already hard enough for me because I was their mother. And I'm trying to grieve and trying to pick up the pieces of all of this stuff. I don't need somebody else telling people how it happened. And, like, I feel like people should be able to grieve and be alone with their thoughts as much as they want to be. Also, it was really, really, really insensitive for her to make a memorial and not even tell the parents, like, and that's her son's son. Like, I just feel like a lot of that was really not the way to go about things. But I do understand some people are really, really dramatic. Not about, obviously, not being dramatic about a death or anything like that, but I feel like some people like making things about themselves even when it has nothing to do with them. So that's kind of my thing. What do you think?
I really agree with that, because everything was like me. It wasn't about how are y'all doing? Can I be here for y'all? What can I do? It wasn't that at all. It was like, well, I need to grieve. I need a memorial. That was my only grandchild. And she was just making it about herself.
Yeah.
Which was really messed up. It's like, okay, are you not gonna, like, have a conversation with them and, like, make sure they're okay?
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. That one was really, really heavy. Next one is, am I the asshole for throwing my sister's past words in my face? Am I the asshole for throwing in my face when she asked for a favor after years of estrangement? I, 26 female, have a sister, 28 female, who we haven't talked in 6 years. We were very close to not talking for like 4 years before that, and growing up, we never really had a good relationship.
Can I pause you?
What?
You know how you had to read it twice because it didn't make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I read already ahead of it. Am I the asshole for throwing my sister's past words in her face when she asked for a favor after years of estrangement?
Okay.
That's what she actually meant.
Okay. She was the person teachers loved, the smart kid in our family, the one who was naturally very gifted at academics. I was never. I struggled even with my best efforts, and teachers hated me for it. When I would start out with a teacher, I was Katie's sister, and they had such high expectations for me, but soon learned I wasn't Kate. And some hated me for it. Some were just unable to understand I was trying my best but wasn't smart. I never was smart like that. Our parents really wanted me to be more like Kate. They would praise the crap out of her and tell me to try harder, to stop making excuses for me. I found out I was artistic when I was like 7. After a really awesome substitute teacher made a huge impact on me. It didn't really matter to my parents though, and a year later my sister started to hate me because she felt like I was ruining her reputation with teachers. She told me our parents should what?
Autistic.
Where?
Artistic is like you're good at like art.
I didn't.
I know, I think she typed it wrong. You know what I mean? She put artistic, but artistic
No,
is like...
it's artistic.
Okay.
When I was 7, after a really awesome substitute teacher had a huge impact on me.
Okay.
She told me our parents should drop me off at a home for dumb and R-word kids. I think maybe did she mean? No, I don't think so. R-word kids. I'm not going to say the word because I actually hate that word, but like special needs children. Over the years, our parents really did encourage her to try and make me feel better, and would really encourage me to try and be more like her. Eventually, we just both hated each other to the point of no return. She told me I ruined her life and made life harder for her with my lack of a brain, and I should have been aborted. Oh, I don't like that. We were 15/17 when that happened. Anyways, we haven't talked in years, when suddenly she reaches out asking for a favor. That her future in-laws are close and she needs me to show up and make it seem like we still talk so they don't judge her. I threw her words in my face for being... I threw her words in her face. She typed it a little weird. And told her I was too dumb to help her out. She told me I was petty and childish. Extended family sided with her on it because it's been so long. Why would I do that sort of thing? Okay, so this to me screams that the parents literally have made it to where her and her sister don't get along. Like, they pitted them against each other so much as children that it was never gonna work.
I feel bad for her.
I feel bad for her too,
horrible.
because every kid is different. You shouldn't expect things from one kid. Just because one kid likes something, you shouldn't expect that from the other kid.
And if you are doing that, by the way, you need to stop it right now. Because I have seen personally what that does to relationships, what that does to family when you try and compare people to one another. You don't compare anybody. Everyone is different. Everyone is special in their own way. And
everybody has different skills.
Yeah. Partly why I felt a certain way growing up. We're not going to get into that. But every child is special in their own way. And you just have to be there for them.
Yeah. And lean into their interests.
Exactly.
So, like, for her, she said that she found out she was more artistic. So that just tells me, like, okay, well, one of your kids is more academically, like gets A's or whatever, is really good at school, but your other kid loves art and loves to create, like lean into that. Every kid is different. It's just like Trevor really liked hunting when he was a kid, and he liked fishing and doing all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was really, really good at computer stuff like I do now. Like, I was really good at computer stuff, fixing stuff, like editing, doing all of that stuff. I was really good at stuff like that. So there would be no point in looking at us and comparing us, because we're two different people.
Yeah.
So I feel like she wasn't the asshole, because I feel like, especially if this is the first conversation she's having with you in years, and it's like, oh, come show up to this thing because I don't want to look like an a-hole.
Why would you think you look that way?
Yeah, but also, like, there's no, I'm sorry for the past, can we make up for it, let's go to lunch, like, let's actually spend some time together. There's none of that.
Am I the asshole for asking my wife if she's jealous of our daughter? My daughter is 15. She will be starting junior year at high school when the summer is over, and the school will be having a prom at the end of the year. My wife, 44 female and a senior accountant, was talking to our daughter about her own school leaving party. It wasn't called a prom back then in the UK, and she mentioned that she still owns the outfit she wore. She showed her a couple of pictures too. Later, when we were getting ready for bed, my wife noticed that her wardrobe was open. On a closer inspection, she saw that the outfit she was discussing earlier was gone. She went into our daughter's room to see her wearing it and taking pictures of herself in the mirror. Obviously, having our daughter go into her wardrobe and try on her things without asking was annoying, but I thought my wife's reaction was a little extreme. She asked, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" and demanded my daughter change out of it immediately. My daughter was almost in tears from how my wife spoke to her. I tried to speak to my wife about why she was so angry, but she kept saying our daughter is not to touch her things without permission. I understand this, but I don't see why she's so enraged about it. My wife and daughter look very similar. They've been called sisters in the past. Based on this, I asked if my wife felt jealous at seeing our daughter wear her dress. When I said this, she got even more upset and said she was going to sleep in our spare room. She isn't speaking to me today. Did I go too far with that comment? I'm just trying to figure out why my wife was so angry.
What do you think of this situation?
I probably would have asked you the same because, us being husband and wife, because I would probably be a little shocked if you talked sideways like that to our kid,
Yeah.
Because I think you're the type of mother, like, if our daughter wants to try on something, you'd be like...
I feel like I'd be more encouraging than
exactly.
anything.
So if that happened, I'd be like...
I feel like it'd be cool for me if I had, like, a pair of jeans or something like that from, like, now, and then we had a kid later on, and I'm like, oh, it fits you, like, different in this way, or, like, whatever. I don't really... But I feel like I'm also not one of those people that gets super attached to things.
Yeah, but in that aspect, I probably would have been like, are you jealous she put it on? Like,
are you upset that she took it? Like
what's going on? Like, why are you upset that she put it on? It's just a dress from back in the day.
Yeah.
And
maybe she held some sort of sentimental value to it that he didn't know about.
Maybe, but that's not fair to your 15-year-old kid.
No, obviously not.
When you already tell her about the outfit, you already mentioned it to her.
Yeah.
So why are you going to mention it to your daughter and then come sideways at her and swear at her?
Yeah.
When she's just trying to feel cute and try it on, like... I think that's pretty fucked up that you're gonna come at your kid like that when they're just like trying to like see. But
I just think maybe she held some sort of sentimental value towards it and he didn't know about it, or maybe something happened that night that she went to her prom and he didn't know about it. I don't know. There has to be something more to the story than just that.
But even then, it would have been super easy just to communicate.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not excusing her actions. I'm just
Yeah.
saying maybe there's something else that
like
they don't know about.
And I'm gonna go sleep in the spare room. Like, F you. Like, you can't.
I feel like sometimes, but we also have to think
Go
about
ahead.
the fact that not everybody
Is good at communicating.
has the level of
Yeah.
the level of communication that we're used to.
I get that, and that's what bugs me. Because
Yeah.
it's like,
All of this could be fixed if
you
you just
literally want to go sleep in the spare bedroom on your own because I asked you a very simple question about what's wrong.
Yeah,
And
but
so-
I
and
feel like
so-
maybe she took offense to like, oh, you're jealous of our kid. Maybe that's why. Maybe he could have worded it differently. But I'm not excusing what she said because that was actually really shitty.
Yeah, but in my head, like how I see him coming across, this is just
Yeah.
me though, is like, are you jealous she was wearing it? Like, I'm pretty sure he was like trying to figure out like what the hell just happened. You know what I mean? Am I the asshole for firing my kid and then making him work for free? I own a water park. Before everyone calls bullshit, I never said I own Disneyland. I own a water park. It's small and local. More like a state fair type situation.
Okay.
I don't really know how to describe it. That's irrelevant though. Up until COVID, it was a very successful water park. Now it's a struggling water park. I hire a lot of high schoolers because frankly, who else will work for $10, free park privileges, free fried food, and no health benefits? Sounds evil, but we used to have stacks of applicants, even kids calling for volunteer gigs. Because of COVID, we've had to cut the staff. I hired maybe less than 20 people and cut hours of operation, and also now I've had to put my teenagers on payroll. Now that my kids, specifically my 16-year-old son, work there, they have the same benefits the staff does. They can bring 2 friends for free admission, discounts on 3 others, free food for 3, discounts for the other 3. While my kid decided to pull a Richie Roach and act like an asshole and demand everything for free for like 6 people. Security was too scared to kick out the boss's kid and called me instead. I had to come there and kick them out myself. As a result, I fired and banned my kid and banned his friends. I also making him pick up trash at the park for 6 hours on Saturdays. My wife says punishment is extreme and embarrassing and I'm being an asshole. To me, I see it as him helping and contributing to the family's business, especially after how he treated the staff who puts food in his mouth. I agree with that so far. What about you guys, Reddit? Do you guys think I'm being an asshole? Edit. So I can't go into too many details for reasons, but basically my kid shows up with 6 hoodlums. They refuse to let security check their bags. Ugh. One kid has a knife, another weed and booze, one had pepper spray. It was a girl. I gave her a slight pass because being a girl is scary, but still against the rules. That's honorable.
I would have been like, okay, yeah, like put it in your car. I understand you're a girl and you want, because I keep pepper spray with me.
They refused to pay. They called a kid who works the ticket counter who has special needs a retard and basically said that I'd personally make sure he gets fired if he didn't let them in.
I hate that word.
Poor guy's in the process of quitting and I'm trying to convince him not to. Maybe a lawsuit, to be honest. When it was lunchtime, my kid went back to the snack bar and made food for all his friends and some cute girls that were in the line and didn't charge them. He was in a bathing suit, no shoes, working a fryer and grill, huge health violations. Then made a mess and refused to clean up after themselves. Then they went up a tall ride and tossed things off them, including a can, because we ran a very family-oriented park with rides for kids starting at 3 years old. My kid, granted, wasn't as bad as some of the others, but he knows way better than this. With all my family, including my mom and dad, working at the park, also we don't have an office. It's the ticket counter, filled with 16-year-olds. We really have no one to leave him with, and we have no one to leave him at home with, and he can't be trusted
Alone.
at home alone. Willing to take any and all suggestions on how to punish this kid if you think what I'm doing is not right.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, I've seen grease fires and seen people's burns from that. That's hella unsafe. Plus, you're already probably wet on like a greasy area.
Yeah.
Um,
You have no shoes on. That's
Yeah.
so many health violations.
yeah. Very.
I thought this was gonna be irrational.
Yeah, I did too. Very unsafe all around. I'm sorry.
Also-
like, I built this park, and then you're going to throw stuff everywhere.
Also, where there's little children, that can could have hit a small
Yeah.
child.
And you know that I own this place, and you're going to call this special needs kid an R word. How dare you?
Absolutely not.
You're lucky that that's all you're doing is picking up trash. You are lucky. And I wouldn't give that kid any park privileges for like 5 years.
Also, he's being like, he said that he was being disrespectful to other workers as well.
Yeah. If it were up to me, I'd make sure that he stayed on minimum wage as long as he was there. He wouldn't get him for free. He wouldn't get free food. He wouldn't get anything for free. I'd probably set that tone for like 4 years.
But also,
Because I own the place. I can let you in and let you
you
do anything you
know
want to do.
what friends to take around your parents and what friends not to take around your parents.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Um,
I don't think he's an asshole for that.
no, I don't think he is either. You're lucky I didn't whip your ass up and down that part.
Why was I thinking the same thing? I was like, you.
Especially
no.
after calling this kid that. Excuse me? And then I have to now apologize to another family whose kid is already special needs because my kid is acting like a complete fuck up. Like, that. And it's sad because I'm pretty sure, because the whole family works there, you know, it's like kind of like my big fat Greek wedding, but for a water
Yeah.
park. And I think just on that alone, that man has built up the best thing he can to provide for his family, and even his mom and dad work there.
Yeah.
That man's mom and dad. So that just speaks, it's not entitlement there, it's contribution, it's time, it's effort on the whole family. And then you're going to go and sit there and do that?
Yeah.
Not just to me, but to your grandma and your granddad that work there? I think not.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for not taking my wife to eat with the kids? My wife doesn't have a healthy relationship with food. When presented with a lot of food, she overeats. She went to church alone this weekend, and I stayed with our kids. They were hungry, and I didn't feel like cooking. I asked them where they wanted to eat, and they said Peter Piper Pizza. It's a lunch buffet for those unaware. I could have waited for my wife to get home to join us, but like I mentioned earlier, she overeats when there's a lot of food, so my kids and I all went. I told my kids not to tell their mom we went there because I know she will get upset. Being kids, they still told her. She was upset that I didn't wait for her and wanted to join us. I told her what she already knew, that she will overeat, and this made her more upset. I was only saving her from her unhealthy habits, so I didn't wait on her for this reason. She's not at an ideal weight, so I figured it would be a good idea. Am I the asshole for this? What is your definition of an unhealthy weight? I think it's y'all's dynamic that's important. At the same time, like, you're not helping her by
No.
doing that. You're not. If it's to that extent, like how you put it, does that make sense? If it's like bad.
But also, why don't you get her into, like, I know that they have
like weight training camps or something like that.
no, do not send her to a fat camp like Trevor's talking about.
It's called fat camp.
That's what they used to call it. That's so
Oh my
insensitive. Anyways, don't freaking listen to Trevor about anything about any of this. I would say, I know that they have like therapy and group settings where you can talk about like better habits and things like that. Also, like, low-key, yeah, you are an asshole for... Why are you laughing?
I was waiting.
You're an asshole. Like,
yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing. I just wanted to hear you say it.
Who does that and says that about their wife?
Hey, babe.
Please don't even, because my fist is right here.
I really know you wanted Chick-fil-A fries, but I took the kids. And I didn't get you anything.
Stop. Ow. No, you're an asshole. First of all, if she has an unhealthy relationship with food, you're not going to change that. You're not going to help that. Yeah. If she wants the help and she wants to change something, she will change it. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, whatever. You are not going to be able to change someone else's relationship with food or someone's unhealthy relationships, period, unless they want to actually change. That goes with anything.
Yeah. Like
drug abuse, anything.
Yeah. If you see that they want to change, help them.
Yeah.
But don't be like, oh, I'm just going to hold it away from you.
Trevor had to go make a call, but I'm going to go ahead and do this alone. First of all, I feel like in this situation, you're teaching your children to lie, which is already a bad habit. You're teaching them to be mean, and you should not be restricting another person's eating habits like that. That should not be a thing. Also, eating disorders and lying about food and you saying hurtful things in front of your kids. When I tell you it stays ingrained, it stays ingrained. Don't be that person that causes another person to have problems with their eating. Also, you shouldn't be controlling other people's food choices and conspiring and like keeping it a secret. I don't agree with that, period. We're gonna do one last one and then we're gonna end it. So this one is, am I the asshole for demanding my dad to buy me tampons? Earlier today, I, 14 female, got my period. Unfortunately, I only had one more tampon left because I forgot to get more and I obviously need more. I was having some pretty bad cramps and I didn't want to walk, and obviously I can't drive, so I went to my dad and asked him to get me some. My dad has arthritis and apparently he got a bad flare-up, so he didn't want to do it. I asked him to twice and he told me that demanding wouldn't make him do it any faster, which just got me angry. I decided to ask my brother, 12 male, but apparently he's too young to walk to the store by himself, and then I went to my dad and told him that he needed to get me tampons, but he snapped at me and told me to give him a minute and stop being a brat and demanding things, even though I hadn't demanded anything, but he's annoyed at me now. I guess I want opinions from people who aren't biased. What's your opinion on this?
I mean, I don't think I really have a say in this at all because I'm not a woman that bleeds. You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry, do you want me to, like, bleed all over your carpet? Like...
That's my thought. Like, what do you think this is? Okay, I have something that literally I can't control. I have no choice in this.
Like,
also, I'm bleeding.
Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, have you had the cramp testy thingy on your stomach yet? Do you know how it feels? And then he does it, and he's like, oh, this is bad. This is worse than arthritis. Okay.
But also, like, I don't know, because when I first got my period a couple of years ago, my dad had to take me to go get tampons, and my mom was in the hospital and she was getting surgery on her ankle, and I started my period the day that she went into surgery, and I had at the time I wore pads. I didn't wear tampons, but I was like, Dad, can you take me to the store? It was already late at night. It was probably like, not late, but like late for when you're 15. It was like 9:30 and I started my period. And he's like, why? Like, why do you need to go to the store? And I just looked him straight in the eye and I was like, I started my period. And he didn't, there was not one other word came out of my mouth. He's like, get in the car. Like, that's why I say, like, I can't understand these situations, but no, you're not an asshole to demand. I'm bleeding from my vagina. Like, I can't control this. Do you want some Tiger Balm for your arthritis? Like, I'm a female. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't relate to this because my dad dropped everything to take me to go get.
Your dad was like, I'm gonna take care of my princesses.
Yeah, so we went to the store and then he gave me money and he told me to get ice cream while I was in there. So, like, I can't relate to this whole situation. But that is the last Am I the Asshole of this episode.
That's why I love Javier, like hearing all the stories about him.
Yeah, my dad was a girl dad
He really
to the
was.
max. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're new, I hope you stick around and join my little family on here. And also tell me down below which, this Am I the Assholes, and give me your opinions in the comments. Also, let me know if you like the video versions because maybe I'll start doing them more. But I just wanted to give it a little trial run. I hope you enjoyed, and I love you guys.